this for, so I got to make sure everybody can hear me here. We good? Good. I had like 2 guest speakers that were supposed to show up that did not, so I don't know how long this will last. Basically, what Roger just asked me to come here and share my testimony with y'all. So basically, it's pretty simple. Just I'm going to explain to y'all kind of my life before Christ a little bit. I know pretty much in here, everybody in here anyway. Pretty much tell y'all my life before Christ, how he came into my life, how I lived with him, then straight off, and came back later on. And then kind of what's going on now. So he's doing some awesome things. So just want to kind of share that with everybody. So Psalm 103:12 just kind of talks about how God, pushes all our sins away as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. So that's basically kind of the scripture that will kind of give you an outline of this and definitely an outline of my life. That was basically my main struggle when I was coming back to God, was I was holding on to all these sins that I'd done. Kind of thinking, how can God use me? There's no way he can use me. And really that was just Satan kind of throwing those fiery arrows out there, just trying to keep me from being where I need to be. So once I got over that and understand God's already forgiven me and forgotten him, well, who am I to keep holding on to him? So once I did that, things really started to flow and life started to get a lot better. So, but anyway, I'll kind of give you a rundown of my testimony. So I really have no idea what to say here, so we're just going to kind of roll from the heart here and just see how it goes. Like I said, at least I see the whole gym here, so I'm a little more comfortable. That's why I don't see Roger here, because I don't see him at the gym. Didn't know you were back yet. My life before Christ, let's just start there. I had a great upbringing. I can't blame anything. I can't blame any of my mistakes on my upbringing. My upbringing was phenomenal. I lived with grandma and mom. Those are 2 of the strongest Christians you're ever going to meet. They stayed on me all the time. Church, God. And because of that, like I said, I had something to fall back on later on after I had straight off. And I definitely appreciate that more than anything, because I couldn't have had a better mom or a better grandma or 2 better role models in my life than them. So I got saved when I was 14 years old. Brother Roger did actually participate in that, did some good ones. And he did a little revival service up here when I was 14, ended up getting saved that night. From the time I was 14 till 18 in high school, my life was sports and God, and that was it. So I did witness to people. I was doing what God wanted me to do at that time. And then I graduated high school, went to TC to play football, realized there was a little bit more life than there was in Howe, Texas. There was a few more girls out there than in Howe, Texas, and some things like that really led me astray quickly. So basically for 9 years, I wouldn't say I wasted 9 years because it led me to all this, but I did waste 9 years of my life. Getting involved with a lot of things that were bad, fighting all the time, going out to clubs, drinking, drugs, girls, anything you can name that's selfish, I did it. And, it's just eventually, like I said, it took me longer than others, and I don't really understand why God gave me so many chances. I think I understand the word grace a little bit better than most people, just because I did so much wrong that God continued to forgive me. So I really understand what grace means. And so that's helped me out later on, obviously, as a witnessing tool. I don't wish I'd have done any of the things that I did in the past, but if I wouldn't have, God sees the big picture, and it wouldn't have led me here. Kids are a lot more responsive to me because they do understand enough, whatever they did. That doesn't mean anything, compared to what I did, so at least I can make them feel a little bit better about their life. But they will listen to me, and like I said, if all that stuff wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have this great group of friends right here, that I have now, and I wouldn't have a wonderful wife. And God, I have to give Stephanie a lot of credit. I mean, God gets all the credit for anybody getting saved or coming back to Christ, but He definitely used my wife to bring me back to Christ. She was a very godly woman and still is, probably the most godly woman I know. And, the first year we were dating was tough for her. And like I said, I put her through a lot of hard times and was out doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. And I put her family, who means a lot to me, through some hard times. And, it's just tough. But like I said, she prayed and stayed strong and just kept bringing up God and church and this and that. And I was convicted anyway from God. So she really just stuck with me and brought me back to Christ. Like I said, God gets all the glory for that, but He definitely used her for that. And I forever will never do anything to her family, or anybody involved with them because of that. So anyway, that's kind of how life went after high school for about 9 years, which is a long time. So hopefully, if any other kids in here going in that direction, it doesn't take that long to figure out. So, right now, I always want to make sure my testimony doesn't seem glamorous. I was very young. I was making a lot of money. I had Corvettes. I had motorcycles. I had success. I had this and that. Pretty much every materialistic thing that you would want. And on the outside looking in, people thought I was on top of the world and things were great, when really I was absolutely miserable. You know what I mean? Every night was horrible going home, every morning was horrible waking up. I mean, I could fake it and put on a facade that everything was great, but it wasn't. And that's just a perfect example of, stuff cannot fulfill you. People can't fulfill you. You have to put 100% of your faith in God, or you're just never going to get it. You're never going to have that joy and that peace. Coach Holtzclaw, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of y'all know Douglas Holtzclaw. He was a big mentor for me. Coach Simmons was my second dad, growing up. I mean, without people like that in my life, like I said, along with my grandma and my mom giving me that background, I wouldn't have anything to come back to. Coach Holtzclaw was really a key part of me coming back too, because, he went through a lot of trials. I think I heard his testimony a few weeks ago. And, he went through some tough stuff. I mean, everything that I did in my life was self-inflicted. Growing up, I had everything I wanted. Nothing was deprived from me. I had a great upbringing. And like I said, everything any problem I had, I brought on myself. And Coach Holtzclaw didn't, he didn't deserve anything that happened to him in his life. Absolutely not. Me and him should have traded spots because I deserved what he went through, and he didn't. And the difference is like I said, he always had this joy about him, this peace, this comfort. And, no matter what was going on bad in my life, he always had that joy, and he would always come talk to me and stay. I always saw that peace in him, and it was always something that I wanted. And I knew how to get it. I was just fighting it. And like I said, he stayed steady with me, and that also helped me kind of come back to where I needed to be. So, I guess I really took for granted my upbringing because, as I'm out leading all these people, I was taking hundreds of people out to clubs every night and all this, and it sounds great. But, I took for granted that those people didn't have the same upbringing I did. I might have been the only Bible that they ever saw. And, I remember tons of times where it's 2 in the morning, we're leaving the club, and we're completely hammered, and I'm telling them, look, we got to get up in time to go to church in the morning. Well, guess how many people went to church with me? 0. So, and now that a lot of those people from the past have come back around, and they do see that genuine change in my lifestyle, and now they're sitting here in church with me. So, a good example of that's a guy named Kyle West. He stood me up this morning. Someone called him out. But anyway, I actually kind of got him started on some drinking and stuff like that a long time ago. And he went down the wrong path. I went down the wrong path, but we were going down separate paths. Well, once I did come back closer to God, I had a lot of conviction of certain people that I wanted to get a chance again with. and he was one of them. And I prayed every day that I would get a chance to talk to him. Well, just to show you how awesome God is and how He can work. It was last December, I think. This is for my mother-in-law's birthday. We went out to eat. This kid keeps staring at me over here from a distance, kind of got a creepy vibe, and finally he comes over there and it was Kyle, and I was like, I was super excited to see him, and we exchanged numbers and everything. He's like, dude, the reason I came over here, he goes, you were drinking a glass of water. He's like, I've never seen that, and I know that sounds crazy, but that's what drew him over there. So anyway, I texted him that night. He started working out at the gym the next day, and probably he started coming to Bible study, and I would say within 3 weeks he got saved at Bible study. His whole life's changed. He's going to heaven now. And like I said, we need to pray for him because he's getting hit hard by Satan right now because, a lot of people in his family kind of disown him for this, because they have different beliefs. But, he's still staying strong in his faith and strong in God. So like I said, you do take for granted, like I said, if you do have a good upbringing, if your parents are making you go to church and you're getting mad at them, just appreciate it, because later on you understand what I'm talking about. So parents, you got to make sure your main goal in life, first of all, is to see that your children get saved. You have to make sure that their salvation is taken care of. And then you got to make it a point every day. Like I said, with Grandma and Mom, there was no choice. Sunday we were going to church, Wednesday was church, there was no option. So I got mad at them a lot all the time, but I was still getting the message and understanding the importance of it. Just like you go to school Monday through Friday, well, you're going to go to church Sunday and Wednesday, or now Saturdays, whatever day it may be. So don't stray from that just because a kid's getting mad at you or something like that. You need to be strong and be the leader. And like I said, because kids are going to stray off. There's a lot more to deal with out in the world right now than there used to be. Greg, your probation officer, I'm sure you can attest for that. There's a lot more stuff going on now than there used to be. And it's hard. Like I said, if they don't have that upbringing pushed on them when they're younger, they're not going to have anything to fall back on. So like I said, that's why I appreciate the upbringing that I did have, because I'd had nowhere to go. I'd be dead or in prison right now instead of sitting up here talking to you guys. So that's very important to parents to know. And another thing too, like I said, you've heard probably the term, I think Brother Rogers used the term enemy of the cross. That's basically what I was for 9 years. Like I said, telling these people, I'm sitting out there drinking with these people trying to witness to them. Well, they have absolutely no draw to be a Christian whatsoever. Because, what's the point? There's no difference in me and them. So, like I said, you really have to change your lifestyle first, and people have to see a genuine lifestyle change in you first, or they have to see that joy that Coach Holtzclaw had when he was going through some tough times to understand, hey, I want what that guy has. Because like I said, the possessions, material things, the success, whatever, it's not going to fulfill you. You can pretend like it will, and you can act like it will, but inside, I promise you're empty. And if you say you're not, then you're fooling yourself. So, like I said, first of all, especially like newly saved guys down here, first of all, everybody has to see a change in your lifestyle. Your testimony is awesome. It's your number one witnessing tool. Studying the Bible and everything is great, but if you're gonna say it, you better do it. You know what I mean? Because the people around you are waiting to see you mess up. I had a family member that I prayed for since I was 14 years old to get saved every single day, and at 63 years old, find out they get saved. So you can't give up on anybody. But the deal was with that was, he didn't say it, but I know for a fact he had heard so many times I was going to quit drinking or I was going to quit doing this, and it didn't last. And he just waited and waited and waited for me to mess up or go back. And this last time I didn't, And so, hopefully that's what touched him. I wasn't the one that actually got to witness to him, but who cares? He got saved. But, he did wait to really see that genuine change. So first of all, like I said, who cares what anybody else thinks? You know, the world sucks. So, I mean, it really does. I mean, you just got to change your lifestyle first. And, you know, my lifestyle is a pretty drastic change. So it makes my witnessing a little bit easier, I think, because they do see such a drastic change. But whatever it is, they have to see some sort of change in your life. You know what I mean? You got, you know, Logan here. He got saved. When did you get saved? In April. I mean, he got saved in April. Prior to that, pretty against God, I'm thinking, but nice person, great heart, all this stuff, but was missing something. And, you know, through him, like I said, God gets all the credit, but through him, 7 people have been led to Christ since April. Amen. I mean, you don't hear that very often. I mean, that's unbelievable. If you want to talk about revival, I mean, that's what's going on right now. Another guy that I've been very, very impressed with, Shane, when did you get saved? A month and a half ago? He got saved a month and a half ago. You know, the other night I walked in the gym and he's having a Bible study about how we got to get more fired up. I mean, he's constantly reading the Bible. I mean, that's all he talks about is God. And I am going to call you up here because Kyle's not here. So, just if you could just real briefly share your testimony. I just want y'all to see kind of what's going on real quick before I get to this point, if I haven't come to this. Like I said, I want you to see some different sides of things and kind of see what God's doing right around you that you may not know that's happening. And I don't see how it can't motivate you to leave here and be fired up for God. So if you got a couple minutes, you scared? She ain't scared of everything else.
Alright, so he basically just gave my testimony. It's basically the same, but my childhood was a little bit different. Had some rough things go on, you know, I always held on to that real bitter, pretty angry person. I used materialistic things in the world to make me happy, drinking and addictions, you know, this and that. And it all seemed fun, you know, it seemed to make you happy, but in the end you go home every night, every morning lonely and lost. Well, lived like this for basically 21 years, and basically I got tired of it. I was doing stupid things, and I lost someone and some people that really meant a lot to me, and I was just really down, and I had 2 choices, like, do I take this choice, you know, just continue down this path that basically has got me nowhere for 21 years, or do I give this a try, you know? So basically I gave up everything and gave it to God. Like, I'm talking music, I'm talking any hobby, friends, everything. I didn't want anything to do with anything. So I gave it to him, and I started reading, and I was seeking him hard. Well, he started seeking me hard. And the first thing that I noticed was, the first thing I asked him to do was change my mind. And it's like he, like one night while I was sleeping, like he reached down and kind of hit me on the head. And basically, like, language that I used to use when I hear it, I'm like offensive, you know, kind of turns me off. Music that I used to listen to, hobbies, activities I used to think is cool. Alcohol, I'll never touch again. I just don't have a need for it, you know. So he changed me there, and that was like really cool. He changed my attitude. I started noticing, like, my mother and I, like my sister and I, you know, like relationships around me were getting better because everything, you know, like through him, it was changed. And that's something I always wanted to change, but I realized I couldn't do it on my own. So it's super neat. Well, after he had changed me, I was seeking something else. I was like, you know, I wish I could get involved in something. I don't care if I have friends, just me and you. Well, I was looking for people to hang around, and I was looking for something to get into. I tried a few churches in Bell Steam, nothing was working. So I'm working out at the gym, you know, I had a bunch of dead time, so got a membership up there, and this guy's talking to Kyle about getting baptized. And I'm like, something I really wanted to do, and he could tell I was listening. I wasn't trying to be creepy or anything. So, like, he calls me over there, and we start talking. Well, he gets me fired up, and I get baptized right here. Which, by the way, if you've never been saved or baptized, you should do it because it's the coolest feeling you'll ever have. And after that, I was thinking, like, you know, that's really neat, you know, everything that's going on. Well, he gave me all these guys right here, he gave me him, and I was looking for, you know, someone to be around positive people. And I was looking, you know, somewhere to plug myself into. Well, I prayed for that. He gave me this Bible study on Tuesday nights. He gave me this church. And any guy in here, y'all need to come to that Bible study. It's really good. You'll like it, I promise. So everything's going well, everything's going great. Well, I realized soon that like, it's not going to be, you know, you're not going to be joyful, happy every day, all day. You know, you're going to, like, Satan pushes against you all the time. So, you know, I got this new lifestyle going on. I go to work. I'm a technician, mechanic, whatever you want to call it. They don't really have a good reputation for themselves, you know. They addictions, you know, language, music, and all that stuff. I was going to work, and I was, like, bringing this positive vibe to work. And it was just like it kind of got killed there because I was around all this negativity and all these things. So I'm like, oh God, I really don't want to quit my job, you know, like, you know, what can I do? And it's like he started helping me kind of deal with it better. But out of nowhere, 2 days later, I got pulled into my boss's office, and I got a raise and promotion. Basically, it took me away from all that, and I was like, wow, this is super awesome. What can this guy not do? You know, like, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so everything's going great. I'm still fired up. You know, I'm seeking him, and he's working hard on me. And yes, sir. And also, I go to school. My work sent me to school. It's in Mesquite, Eastville College. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. But there's a few rough characters down there, and they've been in my school. It's like a two-year-long class. They've been there for about a year and a half now. So they're troublemakers, you know, bringing their addictions to school. You know, it's just like hard to be around it. It's hard to deal with it. You know, I was like praying, you know, like, what do I say around these guys? You know, do I hold my tongue? Do I back off? Do I get away from them? It was super hard. But I was driving to school, you know, Wednesday morning, praying about it. I got there, and those 3 guys weren't there. And I'd asked my instructor. Well, all 3 of them dropped in class. So, like, I thought that was something that was, like, crazy, you know? Like, you're just like, all right, you can't do this on your own, you know? Like, I'm going to provide all this stuff for you. So, basically, everything has just been so awesome after I asked him back in my life and got baptized. And it's something that no one can argue it with me, you know? Like, you know, and it's super neat. So I just encourage anyone that's in here not saved and baptized, like, get on that, because if you think you're happy now, you have no idea. So I have an awesome peace of mind about everything now, and I don't know, I love seeking it. So that's basically my testimony.
Alright, so that's one example of what's going on. Like I said, you got Nolan over here who hates speaking. I'm not calling you up here, don't worry. I know you have a but, you know, through the stuff that he said, 2 people gotten saved. Christian got saved because he saw the change in Logan. His brother got saved, he got baptized today. His wife Norma got saved after seeing him get saved. They're going to lead that to their child. Obviously, they're working on their other family members right now. We've all been praying for them. His brother, Opie, I don't know if you know him, he's very close to getting saved. I've been talking to him a lot. And, you know, Will has talked to Jake. I think that kind of helped Jake a little bit. You know, them two get along real good. Like I said, Colin's the golden child, by the way. Colin witnesses to everybody. I mean, he's awesome. Like I said, if I ever have a kid and he turns out like Colin, like I did a good job. You know, so congratulations on that. But seriously, but he's not scared to sit up there at the gym to random people he doesn't know and witness. And like I said, that's what we've all got to do, you know what I mean? But that's how quickly it spreads. So people actually want to talk about God. You're afraid everybody's going to make fun of you, and they're not. You know, I mean, you talk about God, and they're wanting to talk about God. They were just waiting on somebody to say something to them. You know, we started this Bible study on Tuesday nights on, I think it was like the week before Thanksgiving, somewhere around there, the guys' Bible study. I think the girls started like, what, 6-8 weeks ago? Something like that. Okay. These are not normal numbers from what I've researched, okay? So within the last 9 months, we've had 40 through or directly, you know, family members or whatever, people at the Bible studies. We've had 47 people total saved, 40 of those are out of high school and are adults, ranging up to 56 years old. I mean, if you want to hear the word revival, I mean, I don't know what, a better definition would be. In 9 months, that's 47 people saved, most are adults, We're sitting in that Bible study last week, and I could count at least 6 or 7 agnostic atheists, a couple of Jehovah's Witnesses, things like that. I've got them all coming to a Bible study. You know what I mean? So when you can have them coming to a Bible study, you're doing God's doing something very special. So, like I said, the reason why I wanted to come up here and Brother Roger asked me is, like I said, we really have to keep this momentum going. You know what I mean? While this fire is so hot, while all these guys are so on fire for God, we have to continue. We can't let it go dormant. We could blow this church up, like that type of numbers is usually a church like this would probably see that many people saved over like a 18-month, 2-year, 3-year time period, and 90% of those would be little children, and this is adults. It gets a lot harder to get saved once you get, as you get older, obviously. So, it's just very impressive. The girls group is growing. We're fixing to have to move it up here. I'm begging you, everybody in the church, like I said, everybody knows somebody that's not saved. So if everybody could come in here, I have not much biblical knowledge. I'm working on it. But if we could have a lot of people in here that haven't been to these Bible studies come, bring a friend. It is a very open atmosphere. It doesn't matter their religion or anything else. They're not going to be judged. They're not going to be looked down on. And like I said, it's just a cool deal that shows them that people genuinely do care about them. And what it does is it shows them a difference in whatever religion they are. We're not pushing anything, but it does show them, man, this is a close-knit group of guys, or girls. Christians are different, you know what I mean? And that's where we're seeing all these people get saved. But if we stay stagnant and just stop, and we stop getting new people, then it's going to cease to grow. You know what I mean? There's only so much we can grow. So we have to have everybody in here at least come to one Tuesday night deal. And like I said, then bring one person with you. You got somebody on your heart if you're a Christian. There's at least one person on your heart that's in your family, at your work, or something that's not saved. Bring them with you. They don't have to talk. It's not a pressure situation, but you'd be surprised what they'll get out of the message because they'll realize, hey, I'm not the only mess up out there. I'm addicted to this. Well, so were all these guys. I'm close to a divorce. Well, so were all these guys. And now they came through on the other side because they had God as a focal point, and they got through it. Where these guys don't get God as a focal point, they're not going to get through it. So, just if you get a chance, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock over here for right now, it's the men's Bible study, and then my house right now is the women's Bible study. So, just please think about that. Like Shane said, it's awesome. You're not going to not like it, I promise. There's a ton of, like I said, this church is really doing something different. Definitely is a revival. You got mega churches, popping up all over, and that's great because it does reach a younger group of kids. I went to a mega church when I was up in Oklahoma City, but they said they grow by this many numbers, by this many numbers, by this many numbers, but they don't ever tell you how many people they got saved. They're transplanting Christians. They're moving Christians from one church to another. So that's not technically, in my opinion, growing a church. 47 people getting saved, that's growing Christians, that's growing disciples, that's growing a church. And who knows how many of these 47 people are going to go out. That's all these, if you come to the gym and saw all these people, that's all they talk about is God. That's it. So, to me, that's a sign that you're truly saved if all you're thinking about is talking about God. I talk about 2 things to my clients, and everybody can verify this, and it's God and my wife. Because that's what's on my mind. That's what I love, so that's what I want to talk about, So, it's just really cool what he's got going on right now. So, I guess this would be my first point, as Roger would say. I'll try to speed this up. First, everybody needs to do a little bit of soul searching. You know, Billy Graham said, this is kind of off subject, but Billy Graham says that over 50% of the church is not saved. That means 50% of people who think they're Christians are not saved. I've talked to a lot of preachers about this, and they 100%, including Brother Roger, think this is absolutely true. I found this out through the Bible study, through the gym, through witnessing in different places. You know, you might have got saved when you were 4 years old. You might have done it because a friend got saved. You might have, whatever the reason was, you may have grown up in church and never even got saved, but you lived this awesome life, you know. And most of the people have lived a way better life than I have, and it's hard to justify. But don't take for granted the people around you that are sitting in the pews next to you, because they may be the easiest ones for you to witness to. You know what I mean? So start doing some soul searching on yourself. And we had a Bible study about this one week that hit really hard to a lot of people. You know, they were asked, you know, hey, if you go outside right now and get hit by a bus, do you absolutely know for sure you're going to heaven? And a lot of Christians, and these are good people, but a lot of Christians they weren't sure. They didn't know. And so if you don't know, then you're not a Christian. You know, and like I said, please come up here during the invitation and talk to us or whatever. Get our contact information if you want to talk private, whatever. And like I said, if for some reason you're not saved, you know, let's work on that first. And then God can really take it from there and kind of mold you in what He wants to do. So that would be the first thing. Second point, I'm summarizing this really quickly. The second point is, like I said, that, you know, a revival is currently going on in Howe and through this church and the surrounding towns. And it's not happening anywhere else right now. So, like I said, we really got to keep this momentum going. So one thing that people get stuck in their head, like I said, is they're too young to witness. Well, that's absolutely not true. You know, Nikki's 15. He looks like he's about 10, but he's 15. But he witnesses to everybody at his school, so he's not too young. You know, my grandma's like 150. I don't know. Sorry. She's like 95. But she'll still witness to everybody, you know, so you can't, I mean, there's no excuse of age being too young or too old, or that you've lived too good a life, so there's no point in witnessing to these alcoholics over here. Or the main thing, like I said, for this whole group was, you know, we were holding on to all the sins that we did commit, and it hampered us from witnessing, because we thought we weren't good enough to be used by God. So like I said, it says, I don't know any scriptures, but it says over and over and over in the Bible that no matter what, you know, our job as Christians is to create disciples. And that doesn't mean just go get somebody saved. You know, there's a lot more work to this than I thought. I mean, you have to mentor these people, you know. I got saved when I was 14. I got baptized. It was exciting. Welcome to the church. And then that was it. You know, and it can't be like that. You don't hire somebody at your workplace and tell them, you know, I don't hire a trainer and say, I got to go train. You know, because they won't succeed. So we have to mentor these Christians as they get saved and stay on and constantly be there for them, show them that they're loved, because they may not have love at their house. And like I said, really mentor them so that they can go out and repeat the process. And when they start doing that, like I said, next year, if we keep going on this pace, 2 services won't do this. I mean, there's no way we'll be able to fit everybody in here, you know what I mean? And that's the type of problems we need to be looking at. You know, how do we expand? You know, those are the issues that we need to be dealing with, and we're definitely on pace for that. So, lastly, just please remember that me personally, like I said, you know, I'm here at any time of day or night. So is the rest of this group. I know some of them are younger, but any issue that you're dealing with, somebody here is dealing with the same issue. You know, like I said, this is a strong group of Christians in this group right here. Like I said, a lot of these people have been here since I was a little kid. And if this group wouldn't have been praying for me since I was a little kid, then who knows where I would be. You know what I mean? And like I said, I think everybody needs to really, truly understand the importance of prayer, because it is absolutely the most important thing that you can do for somebody. But just remember that these people are here, and like I said, if you're dealing with some private issues or personal issues, I mean, I guess one thing I've been really called to is I really wanted to talk to the parents. Because like I said, I lived a pretty good life, and I lived a really bad life, but then I found my way back, you know, just by the grace of God. But I do understand what these kids are going through. They're not necessarily going to tell their parents what they're going through. I never told my mom anything I was going through. You know, she figured it all out. But like I said, if you're having trouble reaching your kid, or you're sensing something's going wrong, or if you are kids and you're dealing with issues, or you know, anything's going on. Say you're staying a strong Christian, doing what's right, and you're kind of becoming an outcast because of that. If you're dealing with addictions, if you're dealing with alcohol, if you're dealing with party, anything, you know, just come to me, come to anybody, and Facebook me, whatever, you know what I mean? And I really want to help, you know what I mean? I feel like I have a lot of lost time with God. I need to really start trying to catch up with God. I'm never going to get even, but you know, I've got to start trying. And this whole group, I think this whole congregation feels the same way. You know, I had a great support system here with all the deacons and things like that too. So just remember, somebody's here for you. Like I said, no matter what you're going through, somebody else has went through it too. You know, so just find that person. And like I said, they've come out on the other side, so let them help you kind of get to that point too. I think this is my last page here. Yeah, pretty much already went over all this. Basically just saying, just stay strong. What we got to do is create a team here. Like I said, you know, everybody can't just come on Sunday or Wednesday and then that's it. Like I said, what we really got to start doing is taking the elders in the church, the ones with the biblical knowledge, and start mentoring them. We're starting trying to do that with our Bible study on Tuesday. But, you know, everybody needs to really step up and take some of these kids under their wing and, you know, and tell them, hey, you're not the only one going through this problem. We need to get a lot of unity in this church. Like I said, God's doing some crazy things right now. So like I said, if we can do that and start pairing everybody up and the elders step up and take these kids under their wing, well, what's going to happen is obviously, I mean, these kids are on fire. All they talk about is God. And like I said, there's 47 of them, not just these few rows. So if you take that fire and put it with y'all's knowledge, well, y'all's knowledge is going to feed off to them. So they have the, you know, they have the sword of something. They have their offensive weapon, and like I said, but their fire is also going to feed off on y'all, because a lot of the elders, you know, you do become stagnant because you're kind of like, oh, I don't really have a purpose anymore, or other than prayer, or you know, other than this or that. But I mean, you still have a niche to witness to at your work or wherever it may be that nobody else does. You know what I mean? Leon, you've got a group that you can witness to that I can't. I've got a group I can witness to that you can't. You know. But like I said, I don't have the knowledge or the experience that you do, you know, but when you pair two people together or groups together like that, our fire feeds off on y'all. I promise you'll get fired up talking to all these guys, and we want the knowledge, you know, so y'all enjoy talking about God, we enjoy talking about God, so let's get together and create a team, because you cannot do this individually. Like I said, Satan is doing everything he can right now to tear this apart. He's very unhappy with what's going on. The spiritual warfare messages, you know, Brother Roger's been going over perfect, because he hates this. You know what I mean? First of all, he's losing all these souls, you know. So now he's got to figure out something else to do. So he's going to start attacking them, and he has been. And like I said, you know, I think when they're paired up to people and the people with the knowledge really step up to help this younger generation, I think you can take this core group and really just spread it out, you know what I mean? So, that's really all I got. Like I said, I saw the clock, sorry. Just, you know, as far as the invitation goes, I guess we're about to have, like I said, I mean, I like talking, obviously, you know, keep talking all day. But anybody that has specific issues or wants to talk about anything, you know, if kids are dealing with, like I said, struggles they don't want to talk to their parents about, come talk to me or any of these guys. You know, if parents want to talk about issues they don't understand what's going on because there's kind of a gap there, you know, come to us. We can fulfill it. I mean, we can fill that gap in there and kind of explain to you what is going on, so that you're better aware to know how to help out with what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So, just if you have anything on your heart, first of all, like I said, do some soul searching at your house. Make sure that you were saved at one point. Make sure you know where you're going. died right now, because a lot of people don't really know once they start thinking about it. You know, Jeff Carter showed me an obituary, I think, in here, and this lady was 84 years of life. In her obituary, it talks about all her time was donated to the church. She witnessed, and she was at the church working all the time, working with little kids, and lived a great life. I mean, everything she had before, and went to the church and this and that. Well, she lived till she was 87 years old, and at 84 years old, after 60-some years in the church, she realized she wasn't saved. You know, and to me, that's a little scary. And so we really need to figure out first, you know, make sure our salvation is secure. Because if you don't truly have that, then you're not going to truly get anything in here. You know what I mean? And like I said, reading the Bible is obviously your key to everything. So kids from ages 6 to Leon, you know, read the Bible, because anytime you're feeling down or whatever, I mean, if you're reading this Bible, you're going to get fired up, and something's going to touch you. So I just think we need to figure out a way to get everybody grouped together and really, like I said, take this group that's in here right now, make it a team, not just a bunch of individuals, work together because we're all here for the same reason, and just watch what happens. You know what I mean? It's not us doing anything, you know, and that's what I had to realize too, you know, I'm not doing anything. You know, God's just using the gym and letting me hang out, you know, which is awesome. And so, I don't know, it's just amazing what He can do if you open yourself up and truly give Him 100% of yourself. And like I said, lives will be changed forever, and if you want a revival, it's already going on right here. Just come Tuesday night and check it out. And if y'all come on Tuesday night, y'all will be hooked. And like I said, and let's just start praying for this group as a whole and for each family in here. I know everybody's got separate issues going on. And, you know, just pray for that as a group. And like I said, we'll start teaming up. And like I said, and just watch this revival just spread out, because I prayed and prayed and prayed about it. I feel like I get direct answers. And I know this is going to be something huge. I mean, it already is. So, I mean, that's all I got. I'm excited. I'll let you go since it's like 2. But the invitation, like I said, if anybody wants to come down and talk to me, if any girls want to come down and talk to Steph or Coach Simmons, Roger, any of these kids, ask them what they're going through. Or like I said, find me on Facebook. My last name's Horton, H-O-R-T-O-N. I'm sure Shane Wheeler, W-H-E-E-L-E-R. Like I said, if anybody's struggling with certain issues, you know, me and him probably did it, so we can probably help you out with that. So anyway, that's all I got. Thank y'all.
One of the many things that I heard Heath say this morning deals with making our life available. That all of this started by giving ourselves wholly and completely to the Lord. I wonder if you've done that this morning. Have you done that yet in your life? And then he touched on the part about being a church member. A church member that doesn't know Jesus. You may be thinking, can that really happen? Not only can that happen, that does happen. The Bible says that on the day of judgment, that there's going to be those that talk to Jesus, and they're going to tell the Lord, I preached, I spoke, I prayed, I was part of miracles. You remember the response? Jesus said, maybe so, but I never knew you. Do you know the Lord? Not a church member. I'm not asking if you're a church member. I'm not asking if you've been baptized. But do you know the Lord? And then maybe this morning, as he spoke about the team, the oneness, he said something like, well, we're all here for the same reason. Is it all about reaching people for Christ? Making disciples? Or is church kind of all about you? Well, this church is the Lord's church. Maybe also, as he spoke about the help needed in mentoring and discipling these guys, maybe you feel called to that area. We're going to need a lot of disciplers and some mentors. Whatever it is God is laying on your heart this morning. In just a moment, we're going to sing an invitation hymn. I'll be here at the front. Coach Simmons will be here. Wes, our youth pastor, will be here. Come to any of us if you need to. We'll visit and pray with you. The altar is certainly open and you can do your business, just you and God alone. Maybe you'd like to speak to Heath and let him pray with you. He'll do that. These guys, whatever. Whatever you feel God laying on your heart, that's what I want you to do. Now let's pray together. Father, we thank you for this testimony. We thank you for the souls that have been saved. And we know, Father, that that is just a wee bit of what you want to do in this church and through this community. Father, I pray that you would do something that only you can do, and that you would allow us to be part of it. God, obviously you are at work among us. We see that. May we join you. God, lay on our hearts the decisions, the commitments that need to be made.